Hello and welcome to the skating lesson. I'm Dave Lees.
And I'm Jonathan Byer. We couldn't top the last opening, so here we are just being lovely.
Here we are. This is this and that. We are going to be discussing everything that happened at the Ondrej Nepela Trophy and that happened at the Junior Grand Prix in Gdansk, Poland. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, I have to say Polish is out of my wheelhouse. The other thing I noticed is on skatingscores.com, they called it the Solidarity Cup.
Oh,
is that a new name for it? I didn't.
He is more committed than the rest of us. All right.
It's amazing. Thank God. Yeah.
I want to know how he does what he does. Is he just converting from a PDF? What is he? He keeps it very low profile. We need to find out the details.
That's right.
But I think Nolan Carney will crack him first. So
okay.
That will
He's
happen.
on the
Nolan
case.
is his favorite. Yes.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
Is this and that? We're going to be discussing everything going on in the skating world. So if you're new here, please subscribe below. Smash that like button. Jonathan, Sasha Trusova left eteri. Where is your shock face? I mean, what?
Yeah, I guess I left it somewhere several years ago. I just watched her as the blade turns because you gave us now 2, and it's like Christmas. But it was ultimately, of course, the final sentence that really got me about the Nikita marriage. But correct, yes,
by the way.
But as people were talking, I don't know why, I don't know, this is shocking. As you mentioned as the blade turns, are you headless? Because it was very clear after the Olympics, that's what needed to happen. And again, I think the interesting conversation is why she felt the need to go back in the first place. Was that a true move or was that a strategic move for the short term?
Yeah, and I do think that they wanted all of those girls training together with the Russian Federation, but remember when Sasha was with Plushenko, they were continually complaining about her scores and her component scores, which didn't seem to be a problem or a discussion when she was with eteri internally, at least until the Olympics, when the judges kind of indicated that she could. Marks. Anyway, alas, it was not enough. I am curious about a lot of things. Wojciechowskaja,
she went for it. Yes. How old is Trusova at the end of the day? She's like what, 17 or something?
18, I think. About.
Yes. I mean, we know that these are children under high pressure and all this sort of stuff. So it is tough sometimes to see adults not give the leeway needed. But
no one is tougher about the fitness of skaters than skaters themselves. And
I know it's
Elena is the Olympic champion in diving. But this is one of the things is that oftentimes physical therapists will talk to you about this sort of thing, or orthopedists. When you have an injury, like an ankle injury or a foot injury, and it is not healed properly, the injury goes up the chain. It might go to the knee, it could go to the low back. And we have seen that or heard that she has significant injuries right now. So I'm not surprised where there seemed to be a big push where this summer, there wasn't a lot of training going on until the skaters went to Novogorsk. They were training briefly. They were all doing shows, which is common, especially in a post-Olympic season.
Yeah.
Except when your country is kicked out of international competition and your entire brand is we're better than everyone else. And this is your quad Russian rocket. And they definitely posted a video of Sasha doing a quad lutz in a show over the summer. They wanted everyone to know their superiority, that she was still the best.
Right.
Yada, yada. And this is a big part of Russian propaganda. And she did not do the free skate or any quads at the test skates, and she doesn't appear to really be seriously ready for the season. There were rumors that she won't compete at the internal Russian events. We haven't seen that she was on the list this week. So I don't know.
But to me, now I don't know how I would feel, obviously operating within that system, but to me, this is the time to take off the gas. This would be the time to let those injuries heal. If you wanted to make the move, now would be the time to make it. The things that were making me giggle, as you called it, what did you call it? The Russian bingo card?
The Russian bingo card, yes.
Yes, it's a real thing. And my favorite was when you were like, perhaps some are more famous for being on the bingo card than even in their actual
Who has Edith Goncharenko coached? Besides Rodionova, she coached Sotnika, but when she was young, there was like one boy, but she is so famous to me. She's one of the more reasonable speakers when they call people for bingo comments.
Yeah. I mean, it was, I can't remember whose comment it was, but saying something like Sasha wasn't even attending the jazz class.
That was Alexei Zheleznyakov.
As if that was going to help her skating skills. And we've seen those clips from those jazz classes.
Listen, he said that I wake up in the morning and try to invent a scandal in the Russian press.
Okay. Yeah.
But remember,
we try to keep up with it.
He's also I haven't been able to keep up with all the as the blade turns I've wanted to make this week. So real life has gotten in the way. But he's also the one that threatened to fight Evgeny Plushenko a couple of years ago. Remember when Zagitova took a pause / retired, all hell broke loose because people were honest about the fact that eteri's girls don't last very long. And at the time, Tatiana Tarasova was not friends with Eteri, because remember, Tatiana Tarasova is really good friends with Elena Buyanova.
Mm-hmm.
Elena Buyanova was a rival coach of Eteri, and her husband gifted Eteri an apartment and is rumored to have a connection to Eteri.
Got it. Yes. Yes, understood.
That was a personal and professional thing. But when Medvedeva left the cricket club, she went to Buyanova and Tarasova. And when they brought Zhinya back to Team Tutberidze, that Eteri and Tatiana kissed and made up, and now they are strategically best friends in the media.
Yeah, as evidenced by her comments here. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tarasova, listen, she likes her position on TV. She doesn't want to let that go, and she will just defend Eteri.
Yeah. Yeah. But again, to the outside, this was, of course, something was going to happen. Was the move to this particular coach the one that was expected? I don't know if someone like Mishin would have taken her.
What do you think will last longer? Trusova with Sokolovskaya or her relationship with Mark? I give both about 6 months.
Yeah. Let's go with that. I'll take it.
You think she'll return to Mish? You think she'll go to Plushenko? You think she'll go to Mishin?
Well, that's the thing. I would think that Mishin would have to approve the move, and I don't know if he would handle that sort of energy.
He's at this point, I don't know if he would take her because he's closer to retirement, right?
And has nothing to prove. You know what I mean? I would think someone could be excited to have Trusova move to them. But I think,
by the way, I'm not calling him like retired or not. What I'm saying is Trusova seems like she requires a lot of energy.
Yes.
There's actually some speculation that Sokolovskaya might be too nice of a coach for Trusova. What I just noticed is that Mark has really bizarre jump technique. And
yes. Unconventional, to say the least. Yeah.
From a technique point of view, if this is good for Trusova. I mean, at this point, she knows her jumps, but she's doing quads, so you need someone to give pointers. I don't know. I don't think that this is her season to do well. I don't expect results from her.
But if there was a season in which to sort of coast through it, I mean, I know they don't want to acknowledge that this season sort of doesn't count for them because it's, you know what I mean? But I really think this is a throwaway season for them anyway. This would be the time to do that. What's interesting to me is, and we sort of talked about it when she was with Plushenko, is the technique, the foundation started to look better on a lot of the quads. Like you could tell, but there seemed to be a lack of patience in seeing that process through. But we did see, especially there was one quad sow early on in the fall that was so from the legs, and one of like the most exciting quads I'd ever seen from her. And so a part of me wished she could somehow go back there and take the time and properly sort of rebuild that foundational jumping technique. But obviously that wasn't in the cards.
Yeah. I am wondering, and I'm going to do an As the Blade Turns that really dissects what Thomas Bach said about allowing Russians who aren't pro-war back. But don't worry, all of the Russian coaches said our athletes are pro-war, they won't do this.
Yeah.
Which that would be career suicide.
Because my first question to you was, how does one like determine if that is indeed the case, you know.
The figure skaters are the last ones who could ever claim that, and their income depends on government sponsored skating shows. Averbuk, Navka, Plushenka, those skating shows are sponsored by the government. So that is government money that is going to all of them. Meanwhile, you have Plushenka, who had the rally at his, you have the skaters who were in the rally wearing the Z. And remember Vicky and Nikki, Morozov. So these are government sponsored shows. So Valyeva, the star of the Navka show, was Viktor Petrenko. That is Dmitry Peskov. That is Putin money. Averbuk, same thing. So it is. So eteri's 40%. Even if she likes to distance herself from Putin, she's still getting 40% of the Putin money. So
well, it's actually, interestingly enough, it's something the Metropolitan Opera, asked Anna Netrebko to do. The big famous Russian soprano. They said, we will let you keep your contracts if you condemn the war. And of course, she would not, because she's very close with Putin, and so they just replaced her for everything. I think I think it's more complicated, obviously, than we realize. Even a statement condemning something like that, the backlash for them at home is outrageous. So,
oh my God, we had such an opera moment. I was thinking of you yesterday. So my friend had a roommate in college who was on Jeopardy this week.
Oh, fun. Okay.
And the shock came in episode 5 when he said that he had a wife. And we were like, whoa. And then he told the engagement story, right?
Oh.
And he said, well, we went to see La Boheme, and my wife loves La Boheme and Rent, and we were debating whether or not the ending of Rent or La Boheme gets it correct, and I thought it was La Boheme, and that's how he proposed to her at Lincoln Center. Yes, and then of course, you know, these are my music friends with the player piano.
Right.
And of course, you know, Joseph is like, well, most of the operas are superior. I mean, they bastardize. You know what The Little Mermaid is. I mean, you know what opera that was.
Rusalka, yeah, of course.
And what's Aladdin, Jonathan?
Aladdin?
Apparently, Aladdin was Turandot. And then I was like, well, does that mean that
No, I don't buy that one. I'm sorry. I don't buy that one.
Love when the opera queens fight. Okay.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
Tell Joseph Hill he's wrong.
Okay. I believe that he is.
Now, he's the head of music for a university that has a Jesuit orientation, and they love to say about how the Catholics have no taste in music, even though for years the Catholic Church was commissioning all of this wonderful classical music. Now that they're awful with taste.
Back in the day, yeah.
So if you want to hear gay rant,
of course, you know, but this is just such a side rant. But Rent and Bohème obviously come from the play and the novel. So the opera follows most closely the novel, obviously. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, depending on how you do it, the novel is closest in the opera. So, and
in La Bohème, they've got tuberculosis. Yes.
Yeah. You know, it was the AIDS of the day.
Is there still a stripper in La Bohème?
Well, it's Musetta, and she's described as coquettish.
Who's the drag queen?
That's Chonard. That was one of the roles I played. Yeah, it was either.
Good. I always thought that I would be Angel or the stripper. I just thought one or the other would be my kind of jam. You know?
Killing parrots. Yeah, that's the. But what in Rent, he kills a dog, I think. But in the opera, he poisons a parrot.
Wait, when does he kill a dog in Rent?
That's the story where he was like dog sitting for someone and he poisoned the dog.
Oh, yes. I need to rewatch.
And that's Chonard's aria in La Bohème.
To rewatch that movie where they're all like 45 and pretending they're in their 20s.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we'll discuss it because I was actually at the Curtain Up, the big live Broadway event in Times Square this morning. This is why my hair is all fluffy from the rain. But I've got a good joke for later. I've got a good joke.
Tell us now what's happening.
No, because it coincides with one of the skaters like too perfectly. So I'm going to hold it. I'm going to hold it. Everyone get ready.
All right. Well, let's discuss Mao Shimada, because you were a big Mao Asada fan, and you know that Mao Shimada was named after Mao Asada, which is kind of like how Brian Mueller and his sister Michelle Mueller are named after Brian Boitano and Michelle Kwan, which I just love this kind of skating, or how Alina Zagitova is named after Alina Kabayeva, Putin's, mistress.
Special friend. Yes.
Special friend.
Yes. I love me some Mao Shimada. I love me some Mao Shimada. She is so excellent. And again, even as we were talking about, sorry, everyone keeps asking, I keep futzing with all of this. The triple axel and the quad here, even though I believe the quad was under rotated according to the judges. What they both were from the legs. So that was one of those quad toes that even though the landing may not have been fully rotated, it was so exciting to watch because you see she has these muscular legs that just, and the technique just like throws her into the air, and it's so much more aesthetically pleasing to me than those that use the fast rotation and the more of the upper body in that instance. So that was so exciting. Yeah.
I love her flow, especially I think that the free really shows it off.
Mm-hmm. And the held positions and the landing positions, like when Michelle Kwan used to do that axel and it just like went forever. I mean, that's what this reminds me of. Yeah.
Nicky Frank Carroll. I mean, his heart stopped.
Exactly. So did mine.
Although speaking of Frank, that double axel looks like, I mean, not, sorry, that layback spin looks like Frank Carroll taught it to her. I mean, that is,
and they're fast and they're good, but it's that turnout of the foot, right? It's just kind of hanging there a bit.
Just dangling. She needs Dick Button to do a side-by-side with Naomi Nam to get that better for next season. I mean, that's right. Was just unacceptable.
Well, didn't they end up solving it with Michelle by just keeping the foot down?
Yes.
Yeah, it was quite genius because you're like, oh, what an interesting variation. And then they didn't have to deal with it. Yeah.
Remember the next season, she actually tried and she was like, they're visiting Evelyn Kramer, the spin doctor.
The spin doctor.
And then they just decided to go down. She hurt her back and they were like, the leg goes down.
Yeah. Great. And it worked for her. Yeah. Yes, but I agree. I saw that
too.
Yeah, I think so.
This Mao Shimada, I mean, when everything is so good, except for, you know, the coaching situation and
I know. Yeah.
The layback position.
Yeah.
But yes. Okay. I, you know, have long wanted to skate to Schindler's List, which, you know, people have a lot of feelings about, but I think it's the most gorgeous music ever.
It's stunning. It's stunning.
Like all of my favorite skaters have used this music. So
yeah,
I was maybe debating with Kristen about it. And, you know, she's opinionated and direct.
I've heard.
Right?
Yeah.
Not on board, right?
Okay.
But this Japanese lady skated to Schindler's List. And I thought that was like mildly surprising, especially after Satiko. Remember when she did like the two literal of the Star of David with the straps and people got really upset and there was a whole thing. But then, Jonathan, I thought this girl has a lot of chutzpah because the free program was the Butterfly Lovers. You mean the Chinese folk song. I was like, she is bold. Okay, she's bold within Japan.
She transcends borders, Dave.
She does. Okay. I mean, she's skating to two of my favorite pieces of music, and she can do what she wants. All right.
Yeah.
Gorgeous skater. She's stunning.
And her, they didn't try necessarily, or it did not seem to me to overly try to tell the story of Schindler's List as much as she was capturing the overall mood and skating to the music itself.
I didn't feel that she tried to put dirt on her face like Tatiana Navka, so I didn't feel it was offensive. Yeah. I thought that she was interpreting the music and saying something.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
But the Butterfly Lovers was a gorgeous choice for her.
Gorgeous choice.
Beautiful.
Chen Liu and Karen Chen.
Yeah.
She rotated more jumps than either of them combined. So I was
correct
of her. And I was a big fan. So
yeah, me too. I think again, she's almost, even though I know she did not win the short here, but she seems pretty untouchable.
Yes.
But then isn't it interesting? Ted like kind of went there and he was like, well, you know, because of her age, she won't be able to compete for 2 more Olympics. Yeah. And he's like, so let's think about if you like that rule now. About the age change.
Ted is still Eteri's friend, okay?
Even with Mark, and that combo works for me. That I can handle that combo.
Like Sean Redstead and many of the judges in USF, he is taken by Eteri. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh, slip that right in there. It just like kind of dropped like a thud. But
listen, she's got a charisma. Okay.
Yeah. Clearly.
Listen, I've never been of the opinion that the age rule is going to fix everything. Like I'm on the fence about this. At the same time, I do like to see a more mature skater. So, but there were other issues, you know, doping, Dr. Shavetsky, training methods.
At any age,
full blade assisted quads. I mean, there was a lot of things that need to be looked at. I don't know that the age was just the only thing, but
right.
I don't know. I mean, but I have to say, Yudong Chen made me so happy. And you know what made me the happiest? As he was skating this free program. I mean, listen, he did a short program. It was a hot mess. It was to the Jamiroquai song from Center Stage, or when they're in the okay. The free program made me believe that we will never be subjected to Bo Yang Jin again. With each quad, he has knee bend, he has big expansive skating, he was getting it done. Okay.
Powerful. He's so powerful. Now, what I'm confused by is, so I sort of thought to myself, where has he been? It was so nice to see that China was sending skaters. I didn't know whether or not they would be doing that. And he has competed on the Senior Grand Prix in 2020, both in Italy and in China. So I was surprised. I am unsure of how those rules go. I didn't realize you could have competed in the Senior Grand Prix and then a season or two later then go to the Junior Grand Prix. Like, is it once you've moved, or I guess not, because for instance, Ilya competed in both Junior and World.
But aren't the rules changed? I thought the rules had changed, but the only skater I'm worrying about who might do both, I think the Georgians have done both, the Georgian pair.
Okay.
And the Italian boy.
Okay.
On the Junior Grand Prix.
Frangipani,
Not Frangipani. The tall skater, he's a little gingery, and he won Nicolaj.
Yes.
One.
I know the one.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But this young man was outstanding. Just outstanding. And even, I love the idea of the Grand Budapest Hotel being the soundtrack. That was a Shailin choice, and I thought it worked really well. And actually, he was wearing a very Dave Lease-inspired, like, white and blue striped shirt, I felt.
I was nervous that it was going to be one of those Fellini programs when we saw the costume. I wasn't sure.
Yeah. It had a very Luca Lanotte, or
I thought it was going to be like a Bo Yang Jin take on it, which we've like kind of seen him do every horrifying trope before in skating, but it wasn't. I liked it, and I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, this was a lot of beautiful, pure skating. He did let out like sort of that scary yell at the end, which I can't say I find endearing, but I was glad he felt he did a great job, which obviously he did
so well. After that, I mean, we can be honest, right?
Yes.
Some countries put a lot of pressure on their athletes to do well, and he bombed the short. So when he did well in the free, I was like, you do you, honey. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I also really like Luca Broussard, like really, really like Luca. I really love his skating. Last year, he used, a very overdone piece of music for his free. I thought this was really, really nice. I really enjoyed the interpretation. I thought his styling and his packaging, I thought everything has been really taken up a notch. And he trains with Wesley Chu of Canada. And I have to say, I'm definitely, I don't know if they have a Jill and Karen thing going on in the rink, but if they are, okay. I really enjoy his skating a lot. Yeah.
I mean, I'm intrigued where this goes. Obviously, no triple axel in the free and things like that after having struggled with it in the short. But the general skating skills and the pictures made and the extension and all this sort of stuff. And it was fun to see him after the program clearly have a goofy, fun personality, and then yet to be so committed and beautiful on the ice. So this was a big win for him. That was nice to see.
Yeah. I think Jenny Kirk worked with him once at a clinic and said he's like a very serious student. So
okay.
I like his skating very much. I really liked him when we saw him at Nationals. And Jonathan, after Ilya Malinin, the US has no one.
Right.
So I want to send this boy to Worlds. I think we start the campaign now.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Who else are we going to say who has not been a perpetual hot mess on the US scene? I'm voting this boy in.
I mean, right? I'm sure the Federation would need to see like a more consistent triple axel situation from
whatever. Camden left Tammy. They don't need to see anything. Okay. I think Tammy gets revenge. Okay. Camden left her for Raphael. Are you kidding me? She's over it.
Okay.
She'll be like, I think Tammy would be like, Justin, Mitch, have you noticed that Camden never practices his spins? And then we would
Suddenly we get to clue into the things. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All of a sudden, Lori Parker will be like, I think spins are very important at nationals this year. Yes.
Yes. Note taken. Yeah. Okay.
You know how the USFS works. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Oh, yes. I mean, there's really not many that are up for consideration this year.
Yeah.
So, and Tomoki had an injury at a less honest competition, so it's going to be slim pickings this season.
Yeah, it's up in the air, that to say the least.
I mean, it looks like it's between Ilya, Jimmy Ma, Camden, Lucas.
End of list.
End of list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I agree.
So, yeah, I don't know. More to come on that.
Yeah. And it's early, you know, I mean, was this his first junior Grand Prix this season?
Worlds. So,
sorry, I meant this season. Does he have
this
another one
season,
coming?
yes. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think we've, I don't.
So I think everyone will be watching even that much more closely for the second one.
All right. Well, let's discuss the Ondrej Nepela Trophy. Okay.
Where the skating might not have been as stellar as it was at the Junior Grand Prix for some.
But this was better because they finally got a good camera. Do you remember that this is usually the event where like the camera is like cloudy and from a million miles away?
Yeah.
It's always one of the tougher weeks to cover. Usually.
Yeah. And even like when we were, of course, watching strange footage from Skyrink and things like that, or Chelsea Piers trying to, you can't really assess the program the same way. And it is funny, whenever I still see like the hockey barriers up around the rink, it suddenly makes me feel like we're in the 70s watching skating again, because all of those great performances. Yeah. But this was improved. It didn't look like much of a crowd.
You miss seeing alcohol advertisements on the sides of the boards like that used to
it was stuff like Bailey's or something. It always was like a Bailey's advertisement.
MasterCard, Bailey's.
Yeah. And now we just have Viking Cruises or something like that. Yeah.
And wait, they always have like that discount store is always at the US events. What's it called?
Oh yeah. Well, there was like a lumber liquidators thing that was always showing up. Yeah, it's always these like funny sponsors. Of course, no funnier sponsor than it was like, wasn't it Canadian Tire, Skate Canada or something? And I was like, that is peculiar. Okay. Happy they gave the money, but yeah, just it sounds odd.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it always just feels really in place, like Tessa Virtue driving a Buick, Canadian Tire sponsoring a Nationals. Yeah, it seems really appropriate.
Yeah, yes. As appropriate as a Smucker's Spectacular.
I love a Smucker's Spectacular.
Amazing.
Okay. I'm worried about Marie-France. You know,
tell me why.
Well, remember at the US Classic, she had that jacket on that I didn't love, and the highlights, it wasn't my favorite, right?
Okay, right.
Now it seems like she went to too many white weddings, and we're doing like the too hot this time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, first she made me nervous because I was like, I didn't see her there. I just saw Romain.
Okay. I mean,
which I have to be honest, when I was judging Miss South Carolina this year, I had never done it. And then there was some reception where they made all the judges do it.
You've never done the cha-cha slide before? Cha-cha, real smooth.
Yeah. And I was like, how does everyone know this? Like, how does this work?
2 words, open bar. Okay.
Yes. I mean, yes.
Okay, so I didn't recognize Marjorie out of her Brazilian peacock costume.
Speaking of which, Dave, I brought a little prop because you know I'm into a tablescape. So I'm always like looking for like unique napkin holders and things like that. And then when I saw these, I was like, oh my God, it's Marjorie and Zach. Yes. And one was even called the Rio napkin ring. And I was like, oh, it's like the ice dance program that I love. And the problem is when you have such an iconic program, at least it was to me, and I thought it was so innovative and I loved seeing it every time, it's hard to top that. And so I think actually Cha-Cha Slide brings out their very performative, high energy, razzle dazzle kind of energy. And
which finally they have, because they were a little lacking in that area.
Yes. And now I think it's actually where they excel, because then when they did the
I was so bored of them doing the Nureyev program. I was ready to banish them from Montreal to the Scott Moyer School. I mean, they were ready to go like, you know, in was it Romanian gymnastics? In one of the gymnastics schools, like they would banish people from the national team to like the regional school when they would get them, and before they brought them back. It would be like an eteri where she'd be like,
yes,
I'm sitting
with
back
the
to
kids.
Catering board. And then you'd work, and then maybe you'd come back, maybe you wouldn't, right? I was ready to banish them to like Scott Moyer's rink where Hubble is coaching people in the men's skates. I was like, that is going to be your energy if you're going to keep doing this Nureyev program, because this is not interesting.
Well, and I wondered how much was like start of the season stuff, because you could tell there were a couple of like clumsy moments, but in general,
what's he wearing? What was that outfit?
And again, that matches that sort of muted feeling. It was just sort of browns and beiges and these sort of like, I don't know, it didn't capture that magic that although like a silly
Ashley Kane and Timothy LeDuc also had no business using this music either. Okay.
Yeah.
It's like Ashley Wagner doing Swan Lake. Honey, you're not balletic. All right. It was not, many people think that's an iconic program, but not everybody has taste, Jonathan.
It can be iconic. It doesn't mean it's good.
That's
it's a memorable program. Yeah.
She teaches edge classes now.
Oh, fascinating.
Yes.
Yeah. Twist. Okay.
That was a surprise.
Yeah.
Like
KMT doing life coaching, I suppose. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Hope everyone's happy. Yeah.
Oh man. It's a crazy world. I really actually kind of like the rhythm dance once I
do too.
Shock and the horror of how lowbrow it was. Okay.
Well, because of the connotation we have with it in North American weddings.
I mean, it is the biggest groan inducing song at a wedding.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it reminds me of all of my second cousins getting married in South Jersey. I mean, it just has that Bon Jovi vibe.
Maybe next season they can do the chicken dance.
Yes. No.
Electric slide.
No. The Patinaggio.
That's Patinaggio. Macarena. I feel like we've seen programs with the Macarena in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they need energy. I think they thrive when they are big performative energy.
He has like a real shimmy that's like dying.
When you let him, and then he has to almost put all of that away.
They talk about clapping as they go into the twizzles, and they don't even go for the claps before, and they don't go for the arms for the continuous movement, and that is a missed opportunity because, Jonathan, there are times where there's very little choreography where they slide to the left, then they slide to the right, crisscross. They do not clap on the beat, and it's really missing it from the twizzles. If you want to go corny and shticky, you got to go all the way.
Although he did struggle with the twizzles a little, so maybe they're going to add them in later.
But they are Canadian, and we know the Canadians have no gag reflex. Okay, so if they are going to be corny, they need to go corny and cheesy, and Ted will love it. Okay. PJ Kwong will love it. They just go all the way. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then like throwing an homage to like some Canadian skater, be like, we really loved how Tracy and used to
Rob. Yeah, of course.
Tracy and Rob. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Amazing. Yeah, that's the way in there.
Corey Cercelli was supposed to do his Pagliacci tribute to Toller, but he withdrew this week.
Okay. I was going to say I didn't see him. Okay.
Tracy said he was reorganizing his international competitions. That means you've like lost your jumps and you're desperately trying to get them back. Yes, that is what that is.
Got it. Okay.
That is Tracy speak.
Then in which case, that is a smart move.
It is a smart move.
Yeah. So. Some that other skaters don't take.
But like, what happened to the cricket club? There is nobody there.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't even make an appearance with Junhwa Cha this week. So
Right. Who might have been able to have used their assistance.
Also, Yuzuru Hanyu is doing a one-man show.
Oh, I didn't read this.
It's
like about his life?
Yes.
Okay.
Not narcissistic at all.
I know, but clearly there's a demand for it. Usually when you know someone like...
there's a demand for it. Jonathan, he could take a shit in the middle of the ice and people would be like, that's a really great shit. Okay? Like,
yeah, amazing.
It smells
the
great.
ISU will never appreciate it. Yeah.
ISU, oh my God. So now that Jenny is on Twitter, she is like really into like fan groups because she's not used to them. I think we need to read some of the Hanyu things. I mean, they're committed. I can't say that they often make a lot of logical sense, but
No, because it's very rarely
I'm very mad at the
state.
ISU. For clarification, Yuzuru Hanyu is not a petrol station that can be tapped whenever the sport runs out of fuel, or a cow that can be milked whenever others are starving. He is a human being and deserves to be treated as such. He has every right to do a one-man show if he likes. So I don't know what those two things have to do with each. He can do a one-man show. I don't know what that has to do with the ISU.
Yeah.
The cows that can be milked. But listen, these fans are passionate, and
They are not rational. Yeah. They are not rational, that's for sure. And they love to get upset.
And we're so excited to watch his one-man show. A full Yuzu ice show is a dream come true. It took him so much turmoil and hard work to become the legend he is today. Now he finally gets to decide what he does in his pro skating career, and we're here to support him all the way. I just hope he looks up from the ice for one moment to acknowledge the crowd who loves him so much. Is he gonna try the quad axel? I expect to see it. I think we'll also see a real variety in programs. He will do that program where he did the spread eagle, the classical music in the short, and that program where he did classical piano music in the short, and then he will skate to Saime for the free, and his other program to Saime.
Which were beautiful, but yeah. I gotcha.
I mean, they were beautiful, but
both times. Yeah.
Do we think that his fans are over the top?
Yeah. Literally fanatics. Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's intense.
Wow.
And seem to not care for the sport as much as the athlete.
And the same thing with whoever choreographed the Peyton Pie free dance to River Dance. I mean, I don't know if they care about the sport either. That's a tough watch.
In both programs, there were sort of some packaging issues and just some sort of overall taste issues. I mean, they were safely behind the Canadians for sure. I mean, where do you see them in the mix this season, like at something like nationals? Because also the Browns maybe not doing as well as they had hoped. And
how did the Browns not get the memo that you have to align with a powerhouse judges and coaches in this sport?
Yeah, you can't bank on Linda Lever anymore. You know what I mean? Those days seem to be gone.
I think that their coaches do a great job. I just think that ice dance is about lying, cheating, stealing, and looks. So yeah. I don't know what.
Not necessarily in that order.
So, do you think where do you think the Browns will move to eventually?
I mean, they seem a team that would thrive in Montreal, but I know that seems like a cliche.
Yeah, but they already have enough American teams. They don't need. If Montreal is going to get a 15th country, I mean, I don't know that they need a 15th American dance team. All right.
Yeah. Although, if you're looking for politics, I think that name recognition would give that to you.
Well, maybe the Tanith School. I wouldn't go to Spielbond. I mean, he seems
maybe more
like
of
he's tapped out of ideas. I mean, he seems like he's going to be like, let's do a loungy tango for Peyton Pie. I mean, that's his next idea.
Right.
Yeah. Unless they want to go to the Kilyakov route. Yeah, I don't know what they will do, but
they're going to have to write something up.
They had no political backing at this competition, so
which is too bad.
That's why people are always like, yes, Diana and Gleb, they're not nearly as good as Carrera and Ponomarenko or the other teams. And you're like, have you watched ice dance? That is not how that works.
That's not a factor always. It's not always a merit-based competition. Yes. Yeah. So, which is what we love and hate about ice dance. So. Right. But and knowing it's better now than it's ever been. Again, on Patreon, when we went back and did some of the 90s events, you were like, this is full-blown absurdity. A lot of this. Yeah. So it has improved since then, at least. So.
Wow. I have to say, the ice dancers, Jonathan, I was at the Ice Dance International show and I saw Senya and Colin Brubaker skate. Kissing you. I mean, it made me forget how much
the more handsome of the brothers, I think.
Jonathan, people in skating have been burying the lead for 15 years, talking about if only Rockne could grow an inch or get a good partner, right? That's, I don't know, 4'10" and
right, exactly.
age appropriate. I don't know. Like, I remember the first season of TSO, Rockne did the same exact program he did with Mary Beth, with Lindsay Davis, with the same.
Yeah,
program.
just recycled it. I remember
and we
that.
thought it was shocking at the time, but then Team Israel did it with 3 different partners in a year.
That's right.
So apologies to Rockne, like you were outdone. All right.
But maybe
I only
Rockne
thought that was
planted the
shocking in
seed.
2013. Okay. But then we saw Old Man Evgeny do it with 3 partners in a 6-week period. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. Zhenya outdid you, Rockne. Also, everyone has talked about how good looking Rockne is forever. The brother is an ice dance, and like Doug Webster stopped the seminar to like talk about Colin's ankle band on the ice. And he's a tall giraffe, Jonathan. You like them tall.
I know.
He's nice. Yes. In skating.
That's insane.
Like, right?
Yeah.
Like, and like he goes all in. He did that Lorna Brown program. He let Lorna put them in the bodysuits. You know, Lorna has one costume aesthetic. She's gonna put you in a onesie and she's gonna like spray paint it, like the shit out of it. Color combinations you've never seen before.
Yeah. Well, it was one of my favorite moments in the Rudy Galindo book. I think it was in the book, is when, because I loved his 96, the swan, like the black sort of just like onesie kind of idea. But I think at one point he had wanted to like spray paint a giant swan on it. And I think I could be totally misremembering this story, but I thought like Laura knew better and was like, yeah, we'll do it later. And then they're like, oh shoot, we don't have time to do it. Just wear the black onesie and we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Oh, and Alyssa Sisney was like the star of the show. Like in every. But there's one thing I'm really upset about. Okay, so like you have to see the Ice Dance International show. If it comes to your city, you got to go see it. And if they do the class before, you have to go to the class. Unfortunately, not every city has JoJo Starbuck, who of course, you know, JoJo comes in like the star that she is.
Right.
Like, oh, my hair, this whole thing. You know how she like.
Have you
like
seen me in the cutting edge? Yeah.
You know how she's like, you know, Tinkerbell of the skating world and everyone just loves her. And
yeah, she like literally floats in on a cloud. Yeah.
Yes, that's how JoJo is, right?
Yeah.
And not every city has JoJo, unfortunately. They should bring her with them across the country. I think that would be important. But Alyssa and Senya do this duet, and they did it last time, and it's to the Spiegel music, German.
Yeah,
whatever.
Mirror. It means mirror. Yeah.
Mirror. And they're doing mirror.
Spiegel. Yeah.
Spiegel.
Yeah. Remember there used to be that like cheesy store called Spiegel's? Did you have that in New Jersey or was that just in the Midwest?
Maybe I have to look this up.
It was like vintage. It was like really cheap. Okay.
It makes me believe that Benoit is capable of being a good choreographer. And it makes me have to eat shit. Okay. Because let me tell you, that program is fabulous. Okay. Even Benoit, what do they say? A broken clock is right twice a day. I mean, even Benoit gets it right when they give him Senya and Alyssa. All right.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and remember that was when Aliona was talking to us that one time. She was like, a lot of the limitations are that he doesn't have always the athletes to work with where he can really do the thing he wants to do. So of course, having those two, it would be a dream.
Who was the one that he put in the hood? That was the Jeremy Abbott program, right? That was a choice.
Yeah, that wasn't great. Yeah.
That was not great.
And of course, Jeremy can do almost anything, you know.
Is that why Jeremy, was he so depressed by that he had the long hair era where it looked like
That's right. It was his recovery.
Girls concert or something? I don't know.
It was like the opposite of the Michelle Kwan response. In response, he grew it out. Yeah, okay.
It was upsetting. All right.
Yeah.
We like our Jeremy looking coiffed and calm. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
But speaking of packaging, Dave, did Isabeau Levito wear the same dresses when she was at Chelsea Piers? Did she wear the same short program dress? Oh, okay.
Because short program dress is great.
Yes. Okay. But I have to be honest, sometimes like the red on the skin in the back, it does almost look like a wound at times under this camera. Because
does her lack of speed hurt you?
Well, okay, so I was going to ask you about this, and try to decide if I'm being crazy or not. Some of the jumps and speed in general, and this could be because of the camera here, seem to be slightly improved.
That's because the camera zooms in.
Okay.
Because someone actually sent me a fan cam of it on Instagram because they had never seen Isabeau skate live before. And they had the same opinion that everyone has.
Yeah.
She's beautiful. She's graceful.
And she is.
Positions are fabulous.
All true.
She's feisty. And she is so lower than a snail when you're across the ice. And it's maddening. And some of
I mean, I remember being shocked at nationals, but okay, that explains it then, because obviously we were with more of a fan cam at Skyrink, and here we were getting more of the zoom in.
Like, she's so good. You just want to be like, okay, the USFS needs to have an investment. Jonathan, they need to pay Lorna Brown, Tom Dixon, I don't know, some old figure skating ice capades queen, send them to her rink, pay top dollar, and make her take an edge class every single day. Okay?
Yeah.
Or 90 minutes. All right. And work the jumps into it. It's like, what are we doing? Because then she's going to get against Cowrie and she's going to be roadkill. I mean, I don't know.
Well, because again, if you take the free skate, for instance, which I still think that music is so beneath her, but she the opening,
or the butterfly clips in the hair, that also like it.
It was kind of a backward step in material.
It like ages and dates her. It looked like grandma dresses her, and that happened last year too in the free.
Okay.
Where, I don't know. It looked like grandma watched Fiddler on the Roof and then tried to like dress Isabeau in some weird, I don't know. Like, she came out when we first met her and she was doing the kisas, and there was like some feisty Paulina type girl. Like, we like her. Now they take everything interesting and fun and they tried to mature her, and it's.
And I don't even know that she needed that as much as she needed something else, because she already starts to cast the spell in the free skate despite the music, with those opening moves that completely match the music and all these sorts of things. And then the minute she goes into that opening combo, she breaks that spell right out the gate. And so you've almost set up that we should be nervous for the jumping passes. Even though she can execute most of them, there's something still unsettling about the entrances in particular. And then at some point it all got, I don't know, maybe it's under the guise of trying to get more speed. At times in the free, there was almost a frantic, rushed quality to the choreography, I felt, which I am not used to from her. But obviously an easy win for her here.
I like the short. I hate the free.
Yeah, I don't care for the free.
I hated last year's free too.
Okay. I didn't dislike it as much as I dislike this one. I mean, and even in it, there are still some beautiful moments. Like, she has one of the spin exits where she's tiptoeing backwards on the toe picks and things that are really
very lovely. I mean,
neat ideas. But again, just a sort of a miss. Sometimes I wonder if the team doesn't understand who they have in front of them. You know, like how you said, I think it was Sandra.
I didn't get to meet the coach because, remember, they were upset that they were only like a point ahead of Lindsay and they stormed out of the short program at Chelsea. So we didn't get to meet that day.
Right.
And the coach didn't realize it wasn't going to be there the next. So, I mean, I don't know. We don't know if she knows who she has in front of her. It's
But I think you were saying that Sandra Bezic was saying sort of this is an epidemic sometimes with young choreographers, is they choreograph their way and put their style on someone else. And then eventually, as they mature, they learn to see what that person really can do and what enhances them, and they're able to bring that out with them. This is sort of what...
working with Costner and Laurie, like, is it because, you know, Costner like does the choreography on the ice for Laurie now, and they...
Oh, I did not know that. Okay, but again, to me, it doesn't seem like it's bringing out her qualities as much as it could. So, just my opinion.
Yes, I like her.
But yeah. That's why there's the investment. If we didn't like her, it's easy to just be like, meh, don't care for the material. Next. Yeah. There's something. I
would send her to Marina. Do you know that Marina has a family where the father is a billionaire and they bought three ice dancers of former Soviet nations to skate with the daughters?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, Marina knows how to get a paycheck. Okay.
Go ahead on, Marina. Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
And
yeah,
listen,
a Marina would be an interesting choice.
I am sure that she could have Isabeau skate to La Bayadere. Maybe next season we could do Ave Maria, and then
Yes, but to me that is so much
Smaller?
more who this is. Yeah,
I think she needs to visit Marina badly.
yeah. I think it would be a great collaboration.
And then she needs to visit whoever does like the skating skills class for Marina, like have Isabeau.
Yeah, get that speed going. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
dire. Okay.
agreed.
South Jersey is not working for her at the moment. Also,
And you know, she benefited from, in my opinion, Haein Lee having a rough outing here.
okay, Jonathan, the Korean ladies have not been off to the greatest start this season.
Although, you know, I do love me a Yelim Kim.
Yes, I know.
This season in particular. Yeah.
But the Korean ladies for the last several years have loved a warhorse. I mean, it really seems like they spend more time blinging out their costumes than they do on original music compositions. I mean,
Yeah.
they just have like a CD of 12 tracks.
Well, it's so funny because I talk about the music here, especially in the short program. There's something effortlessly beautiful about her. And then, of course, following Isabeau, to see Highland's speed, you were like, whoa, this is different. And she has so much more seemingly core strength, perhaps, in the overall skating. But I did say, although the arc of the music in the short program, it kind of is on a nice trajectory overall, but it's just so generic that it sort of makes her generic. And I don't know that her skating has to seem generic.
And Jonathan, Haein has been a beautiful skater for many years, but her one downfall has been the under rotations.
Yeah.
So they
Which are
sent
now
him-
planting her on the ice instead of.
So they
she's
sent
not
her
just-
to Tammy Gamble.
Right.
I mean, she's
under
known for
rotations
carrot
thrive.
cake around the world. Okay,
Right,
I
right.
don't understand
Yeah.
what we were thinking. I
Yeah.
don't. I don't. I just,
Well, and then, okay, so then this is, are you ready? It's so not worth it. This is my big musical theater joke from this morning, because they were doing all excerpts from the current shows. So they did Phantom, which made me obviously think of her free skate because she did Phantom. And then, you know, the name of the show that won the Tony last year?
I forget. I'm a bad
Strange Loop. She had one of those too.
Oh!
Oh!
guy. She real good.
Yeah.
Though, I have to say, I've never thought that Broadway divas were supposed to be nice. I never assumed that they were nice. I mean, I read Patti LuPone's book. I wouldn't want to be.
Yes, see, the interesting thing, and the same thing kind of happens in opera, and perhaps in skating as well. Those sort of giants and big personalities and diva personalities aren't really allowed to exist in the current climate. So a lot of people like our generation and younger, it's so trained out of you, and it's so not the same industry that it once was. So the clout of an opera singer or the clout of like a current Broadway star is very different than it was in the 80s and 90s, I
Do
feel.
you think Twitter would be okay with Maria Callas? She's a nice woman, right? She's a
Well, you know, she kind of Maria was. Kathleen Battle, perhaps.
Did Jackie
less
O
so.
think Maria was nice?
Amazing. Well, Jackie O got the guys, so what did she care?
Did she get his heart, Jonathan?
Yeah, it was Maria Callas that probably didn't think Jackie O was very nice. Although Aristotle was not nice, so there, you know, he was the asshole in that scenario.
Do you have tickets to Funny Girl yet? I mean, I kind of want to see Leah Michelle without.
Oh my God, she was supposed to sing this morning but canceled. But she's
That's
supposed
so
to be
like her.
phenomenal.
Why did she cancel?
Well, because it was also freezing cold and rainy, and I think she was struggling through a cold already in the shows.
She's in
So
no
I think-
position to cancel. Okay, she is.
That's
at a PR
right.
crisis, and then she opens her show and gets COVID. She could not be canceling. All right.
Amazing. But the
Was she
reports
nice about
I'm
it?
hearing from it are
Was she-
excellent. Well, it was the show that I think does it on her behalf. But the clips I have seen, she is nailing this part. I don't know about her personally. I have obviously heard things about her personally, but this, I'm sure Jim Peterson has a Funny Girl program ready for one of his teams at the ready. But
yes.
but it's
He
great
will,
music.
he will drag Tara Kane out of retirement to give her a Funny Girl. Okay.
Amazing. Well, I was intrigued in the Phantom of the Opera moment here. She was trying that triple axel. Is that what that was? Haein Lee?
Oh, yes, she was.
And I have to say,
no, she landed it one time on Instagram, and Drew Meekins tagged us like 50,000 times about that Haein Lee. Yes, they know how to self-promote in Colorado.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of her and her skating, but I have to say, this seemed far from you know, we know obviously there's
it seemed like as wise as when Lindsay went for the triple axel at the Nationals.
It has that kind of vibe. Yes, it does. So that was a bit unfortunate. And then on her strange loop, it was almost, and now that I know she's in Colorado, which I don't know that I was remembering when I was watching.
She's not there. She was only there until like June. Yeah.
Okay. Because her loop almost had that Karen Chen delay. Where it's just like going up and it's beautiful, but I'm like, honey, you got to start rotating.
Karen Chen had a strange loop last season, if you recall.
I do recall. Yeah, because they kept trying it. Instead of just taking it up.
I was like doing a Karen, so I'm breaking in new skates and I'm doing Karen Chen loops like all over the ice. Yuri is like, they already cleaned the ice before he got on. Yes.
Thanks for your help, Dave, but we've got it.
Yes.
That's fine. Now, I mean, in a totally different world, and just to be like trivial, there's the Italian girl.
Yes.
Laura
also beat Haein Lee. That was
yes, that was a tough pill to swallow. But what I like about her packaging is, especially compared to all these glitzy glam outfits around her, she keeps it elegant and simple, and I wish more people would do it. I was the one person that liked Mariah Bell's navy blue sort of solid, simple shoulder line thing too. But again, this skating world that's more into the pageantry of the outfit,
because they can charge per bead.
I know, and it's not necessary. It detracts to me. Yeah,
my Pagliacci costume was 700 in red beads for the shoulder. Okay.
Your shoulder alone. Yeah. Okay.
Have you seen those shoulder costumes where the sleeve is bedazzled?
Yeah.
I'm like looking at it and calculating in my head how much.
Yeah. And again, to then see her come out and it's so stunning and so different as a result. Obviously, I don't know that this is a skater that's necessarily in the mix based on the jumping in particular, and the Hitchcock program was sort of a tough watch for me. But yeah,
naturally, because of like association about stuff in my life during Pagliacci, I will never wear that costume again. So that's,
and you're making the right move, because the minute you put it on, you're going to transport right back to that place.
Yes.
Yeah.
No,
eBay. Yeah. Vintage sale. Yeah.
I don't think I could get rid of them because it's like a part of your life, at least for right now. Later, when I'm not able to fit in, I will.
I mean, I hear you. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, it's the time. But yeah, I think that is, yeah. But okay. What did we think about the men's competition here?
So where Italy may have been lacking in the ladies' discipline, despite a silver medal here, I think they are doing some really interesting things with their men. I think that it's fun.
Jonathan, I wrote down a Jonathan Byer question that I was going to text you and then I stopped. So I would save it for here.
Tell me.
I said, what is more original? An Italian man skating to Bocelli, or an Israeli skater doing Schindler's List?
Let me tell you.
Yes.
The Italian skater skating to Bocelli is not obvious. It's sacrilegious and blasphemous.
Okay.
You are the land of Pavarotti, and you're giving me Andrea Bocelli?
Oh.
Absolutely not. You have Enrico Caruso, and you're giving me Andrea Bocelli? I was furious. I was like, someone revoke the passport. This needs to change. That's for cheesy women in Florida.
Listen,
Andrea Bocelli.
Honest, the Italian Federation has given us years of cheesy program. Fellini. I mean, how many Fellini programs did we get? Captain and Ote, Valentina and Andre.
Yeah.
I mean, we had hot Matteo Goris in those ugly roller skating costumes with Nicole every season.
The bottoms looked fine. Yeah. There was no problem down there, but
the bottoms had no problem with those pants. Right. Anyway, we also had I mean, we've had some years of like the Italians known for their refinement and their great art, not in figure skating though.
But although I have to say the depth of men.
Daniel Grossel is looking everywhere for some taste in Italy. I don't know.
But only on his jumps. But I have to say,
he's like the nicest skater too. We have to like interview him.
Which one?
Russell.
Oh yes, he does, and he seems a real fan of the sport.
Yes,
but
he worked with Jason Brown. Yeah, I think we're on board.
But even funny you mention it, because Frangipani, I say he's someone that clearly likes to skate.
Yes.
And sadly, it seems an anomaly at times in these competitions. So, and I thought the music was working better when it was instrumental in both the short and the free skate. When the voice came in, you lost me. But actually the build-up and the instrumental side of things were very exciting. He's tall and elegant. And to quote Vern Lundquist, he seized the moment and made it his own.
He really did.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of depth here, and we're going to talk about it with Dennis, because if you're a European man, also, you've got an interesting opportunity ahead of you at the championships this year. Mm-hmm. But I think between the Frenchmen and the three, arguably four Italian men, I don't see much room for Dennis.
Yeah, and I'm really confused by the packaging of Dennis.
Yeah,
and he had a couple career bests last season, but overall, I get this vibe sometimes like Dennis can't get ahead. Like it's
because again, as we were talking about, especially with some of the Americans, like there's a real opportunity available this season, and then it seems like some are eager to go through that door, and some are just letting that moment go by. And I think Dennis was someone that had a big opportunity in front of him this season with Europeans and the absence of the Russians. But I don't understand who he is as a skater, especially this season. Like I used to think like, oh, he's the European equivalent of a Jason Brown at a different level, but in that he's going to bring us artistry and skating skills, even if there is not the same technical arsenal. But I'm not getting that same sort of artistic sensibility I feel he used to try to bring to those programs. And people came for me on Twitter when I mentioned that at the Worlds last year.
He has a lot of like diehard fans.
Yeah. And sometimes I wonder if that's a nostalgia fandom, because I found him more interesting before than I do now.
There's something off about the packaging of the situation at the moment.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of fans and he's a lovely skater. I find something off. I find that he is not packaged as well as he could be.
I agree.
It almost seems like they're trying to costume and dress him to stand out like he's a Roheen Ward, but without the talent, right? Like without the skating that is going to match how unique they're trying to push everything.
Right.
I don't know. Like there's just something missing in it.
Obviously, the talent is there. No one's saying that, but it's.
I don't think he's Roheen, but yes.
Yeah. No. But there's a disorganization in sort of the way it's being presented at the moment that I don't understand. Now, I'm going to be super. Maybe.
Do you think Lambiel is like distracted by Shoma? Like, is that what's going on? Because he's got a world champion.
Or I also wonder if at some point when you've been with someone as long as you have, like Dennis has been with Stefan, I wonder if it just kind of even, whether it's a break and then you go back, or whether it's just a new set of eyes to just shake it up for a second, because maybe it's plateaued, even just the way they have done it after for so long. And I don't know that it's a big rink with a lot of people. I wonder if it's just got to shake it up for a season and then.
Definitely at the moment in his career where now, if anything is happening, it's going to happen now, right? And that's where he is just in his like trajectory of his body and his career. And then without the Russians competing, I mean, this is his moment. Not that the Russian men were the most consistent, but this is a huge opportunity.
Yeah. Now, here's my surprising opinion. Mm-hmm. Even though it didn't quite go the way I wanted it to, and this was a musical that was also played this morning, MJ the Musical, I kind of was into the idea of Michael Jackson for Junhwa Cha.
Okay.
I did not expect to, mm-hmm. But especially it was after the jumping was over in that short program. The choreography was so with the music, and he is so, and I thought this even back in the Romeo and Juliet program, where it like went into sort of like the more modern dancey, like clubby section. He moves so effortlessly cool at times, even though I don't know, maybe I'm just like out here on my own, but there's something so just casually like swaggery cool about his movements that I thought really worked for this program. I liked the idea behind it. And even like when you think, okay, we're talking about Korean music selections and sort of stuff, James Bond obviously is going to evoke all of these feelings, but even the James Bond program was kind of an interesting take on one. But what I notice is when he goes in for the triple axels, it is such a slowdown. There is such hesitation, and sometimes it totally works anyway.
With the pop.
And then sometimes it definitely does not. Yeah.
But there's something about his skating that he's very relaxed in the best way.
Yeah, that's sort of that effortlessness I'm referring to.
Shoulders are very relaxed, and when he does the Ina Bauer and everything towards the end in that choreographic sequence, it's really satisfying at the end of his free. I agree. Really sinks into the ice, and it's very nice. He doesn't always point his legs as much as maybe you would want, but everything else is just so lovely. So
I agree.
But I really, really like his skating, and he's definitely.
And I know that I think if I'm remembering correctly, I think the quad sao was the more consistent one, and then sometimes they were trying to add the quad toe, or I could be switching.
Yeah. It's gone back and forth. The sao was the money one in the beginning of his career.
Yeah, that's sort of what I remember, and he's doing both. I would like to see this happen for him. He's a skater I'm rooting for. He's an aesthetic I really appreciate. He's someone I would love to see.
He was here, then he was here, and then he's kind of climbed back up. So
yeah. He has all these great qualities. So I would love to see him be able to put it all together.
And the Korean men are getting stronger. So I think it's definitely going to push him.
Yeah.
This season. So I'm excited to see what happens for him this season. Next week we have the Japan Open, which will be exciting. So
who is skating at it this year?
Brady Tennell is skating at it. We're going to see her with Benoit as her coach.
And now, if I remember correct, is Japan Open just one program, or do they do a short analog?
They just
okay.
And Jason Brown and Mariah Bell are skating there, so we'll get to see. When we're watching them, we're like, Mitch should offer them a cash bonus to compete at the national.
To try again, yeah.
Yes, I think that will be the storyline for next week. And then Lindsay goes to Finlandia, so next week is definitely a little more exciting.
One to watch, yeah.
What was your moment of the week, Jonathan?
It might be Junhwa Cha's step sequence in the Michael Jackson program. How about that? Although I did love Mao's quad toe, even though I'm aware it was under rotated, but just to see such a leg powered quad from a female skater was really exciting.
Well, Mao has to be a highlight of the week on the ice. I just thought it was so stunning. Lucas Broussard, amazing. Also, just love. Yudong, incredible.
Yes, yeah.
And Maria Butrskaya owning the bingo card, because not only does she not give about what she says, she tells you her honest opinion. It's thought out and it's detailed. I mean, she really goes in for the kill. Okay.
Yeah.
She
really dropped a bomb. She really dropped a car bomb.
Yeah. She will stay on the phone as long as she will skate to Otanal. All right. Like she
amazing. And she won't bend her knees on the phone either.
Yeah, she will not bend an inch. Okay. I love her. When she comes, I just imagine her with a cigarette. And when she's finished.
Yeah.
You know that Eteri stole Dudikov from her. I mean, but Dudikov was her assistant, and then he went to work for Eteri.
Oh, yeah. I did not know that. Oh, twist. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, that's how you get to the top, I suppose. You don't care if you steal that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Golden Edge looks sexy, everyone. Bye.